Hello and welcome. My name is Matthew Marquit, and this is the fourth video in the Unity 2D platformer tutorial series. In this particular video, we're going to talk about animation. So we're going to actually, in particular, talk about animating the main character, in this case, Megaman. Now, we've already created the sprite sheet in the last video and cut that out. So if you have the sprite sheet here and hit the little play button, you can now see, of course, every one of our individual sprites. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start off by creating an idle animation. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to grab this first sprite here, hold control and grab the second sprite here and drag both of these, so Megaman 0 and Megaman 1, as you can see up here. And I'm going to drag those into the scene. Okay? Now, what it's going to ask is, where do you want to save this animation? So the very first time you drag a sprite into the scene and it's multiple sprites, it's going to know it's an animation, so you save it in the animation folder. Now I'm going to switch over here to work files and go to the animations folder, and we're going to call this particular one idle. Alright, and then just hit save. So our little Mega Man's way off in space, so we're going to come in and zoom in up on him. I'm using the mouse wheel here, both to zoom in and then holding it down to pan. And so we can see Mega Man a little bit closer here. But now what we actually need to do is, in order to manipulate the animation or see what's going on, we're going to bring up the animation tab. Now I'm going to come up here to Window, and I'm going to click down here and choose Animation Hotkey Control 6. So we'll click on this, and you'll see it kind of pops up. We're going to actually attach it down here to where Game View is. Since we're not using Game View right now, it's irrelevant, so we can see it over here. And I'm even going to drag this out a little bit too, so we can see this space a little bit better. Now right here is our idle animation, as we can see here, and this is the sprite. So this is the first sprite, the second sprite. Now right now it's zoomed, the timeline zoomed way in, so we're going to use our mouse to zoom kind of way out. Alright, and you can kind of see right here, right, that we represent, when we'll see a 1, right, that means 1 second and so on. So we can use this as a frame, basically a viewport, or a frame of view, I should say, sorry. To understand how long it takes for an animation to go. Of course, we can also test it here. But what we're going to do is we're going to expand out the Mega Man sprite, clicking right here. And so the down arrow shows, and now we can actually see the two sprites themselves. And if I click on them, you can see right here each individual sprite. Now what we're going to do is, if I just hit play right now, you're going to see Mega Man blinks pretty quick. Okay, that's obviously a little silly, so we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to stop the animation, click the play button again, and we're actually going to drag Mega Man here, click on his the one sprite on the diamond, so it's highlighted blue, and drag it all the way to 2, okay, which is right here. Alright, so this is now 2 seconds. So now if I hit play, it should be about 2 seconds before he blinks. Now if you think for whatever reason he might be blinking too fast, I'm going to stop this. Alright, give him just kind of a little slow down his blink. Okay, we can click on that sprite, make sure it's selected, hit Control C for copy. Make sure that our little red timeline bar here is set, let's see, in this case 2 frames later, and hit Control V and paste it in. And so now if I actually hit play, we should see him blink and have a much slower blink. So it's up to you. You can leave it 1 frame, you can change it a couple of frames, whatever you think works best. So there you go, we've created our first animation. Now we need to create some other animations, of course, in order to fix or have all the animations, I should say, that our main character is going to need, including running, jumping, and shooting. So let's start by doing the run animation now that we've finished idle. So in order to do a new animation, we don't want to come over here and drag in new sprites. It doesn't work like that. We actually have to add them over here where it says idle. We can actually click down on the arrow or pretty much anywhere on the bar there and create a new clip. So we can create a new clip, make sure it's being saved within animations, and we can call this one run and then hit save. Now this should have nothing in it, of course, since we have no sprites. I can pull this back out here, and now we can find the sprites that do the run animation. Now we can drag all 3 of them at once, but we're going to have to play around with them, so we're going to do a little differently. I actually have it written here for convenience. Okay, and you can see right here that we're going to actually grab sprite number 4, which is kind of almost standing, where you can't see both legs at the same time. And I'm going to drag that one into the very first frame, so it looks like this. Okay, so that's the very first frame. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab, and it really doesn't matter whether you grab, in this case, 3 or 5, but I'm going to grab 3 here. And we're going to drag 3 into this, and we're going to zoom in here because I actually want to see these numbers a little bit better, because this animation is a little bit quicker than the blink. Okay, and what I found that works pretty well is that every 6th here is a good number. So you can see this one's 5. So we can drag this one to make sure it's on the 6th, okay, spacing. All right, so 6 frames in there. Okay, and then we can copy this one, right? Because we want him to go from this almost standing position to his legs out to the standing position again, of course, and then to the other legs. So we're going to copy this one just like we did with the other one by hitting Control C with it selected, moving this over to 12, and hitting Control V and pasting it in. And so now we should have him kind of doing this, right? So we need to do the next animation, which in this case is 5. I'm going to drag that one, and doing our math here, we should set this one to 18. Okay, so that's 16, 17, 18 right here. All right, and so now he should be going from that pose, right, as we can see there, to the other pose. But we do want to make sure that he goes back to one more pose. So if we're at 18, we need to be at 24. So right here is where we're going to want to place it. So we're going to copy this frame again, Control C, and they're just going to hit Control V and paste it in because that line was already set to 24. So now if I hit play, we should see a nice smooth animation where he switches back and forth between his legs, and that works pretty well. If you want to slow the animation down or speed it up, whatever is appropriate to the speed that you eventually create your character, you're more than welcome to come back and fix it, and of course move these frames. If you want to move them further away from each other, the animation will be slower. You move them closer, they'll be faster, but make sure that you're consistent. So this is 6. If I move this in 1, I'm going to want to move this one in 2 to match, this one into 3, and this one into 4, and so on. Right, so depending on how much we want to do, we want to add to those numbers and make sure that they're all moving at the same rate, or the space in between each frame is the same. Otherwise, we'll have kind of like a jerky little animation. So this right here, as I said before, is our run animation, and we're kind of done with that. So that was pretty simple. So let's come over here and let's do the next one, which is our jump animation. And we're going to click once again over here, create new clip, and we're going to type in jump. All right, and we're going to hit save. This one is insanely easy because it's literally one sprite. It is sprite number 6. We're going to grab sprite number 6 here, drag it into the first frame, and done. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, I'm not going to cover the rest of these, okay, because they are literally the exact same thing we just did up here, but with these new ones, right, with the shoots. So if you can actually come down here, and I've given you the numbers, all right. So you see number 12 is shoot idle. Okay, you actually don't need to do any more than just one animation, so that one's super simple. And the same thing with shoot jump. Okay, and shoot run is just 13, 14, and 15, as we can see here. So you can do the same process that you did with the other 3 animations with these by clicking in here, creating a new clip, right, saving them out and whatever. For speed's sake, as far as this video is concerned, I'm going to end it here. But you guys create that, and then I'm going to see you guys in the next video.